By the way, is she Latina? Ana de Armas. Of course she's Latina because Latina babes are the best in this world, Latina babe. Brother. Hello, brother. I was scrolling Shot Deck and I realized something about Blade Runner 2049 and our sweet little Ana de Armas. Of course, you know, it's kind of idea like Merry fucking Christmas. There are already like 50 YouTube videos describing color code of Blade Runner 2049. But nevertheless, I found color coding of Blade Runner 2049. You know, I always watch this movie with kinda turned off brain, and I just subconsciously felt like, why this Las Vegas town is so fucking orange? Just why? Whole movie is this desaturated, cold, green, blue, and this Las Vegas is so orange. And then I kinda understood that Wallace office is very warm, yellow, orange too. And my idea, and I guess it's obvious idea, cold colors represent replicants and artificiality, and warm yellow-orange colors represent humanity. Merry Christmas. And let's walk through whole movie to prove this point and find maybe exceptions. First thing we see in the movie is this replicant eye, and this replicant eye has green-bluish pupil. Artificial synthetic human, cold green-blue color. Then in the intro, in this artificial empty world, we see this yellow flower. And it's pretty obvious, like alive. Real plant, flower, yellow, warm color. Then we enter in house of this replicant from the beginning, this like broken rogue replicant, and it's obviously bright yellow entrance. And then we see this replicant in these yellow warm lights. And it makes perfect sense because this replicant is like, he has a soul, he almost like a human. Because he says to our protagonist Kay, like, you've never seen a miracle, you fucking replicant bitch, robot bitch. He says like this. And by the way, then Kay scans his eye, his replicant eye, with this very cold artificial neon blue light. Maybe it kind of creates this sort of subtle metaphor. We walked away from yellow, warm human soul light to this blue light because you are replicant and I like overpower you with this blue light. You submit to my blue artificial cold light. And by the way, it's interesting that our replicant farming breeding these larvas, these worms, and these colors look both, you know, obviously cold, green, synthetic, because, you know, it is synthetic food that you eat only because of protein, not because it's real food. But also this liquid is some sort of yellowish, but it's very dirty yellow, and also this rusty orange metal, this orange dark costume, and maybe it represents kind of decayed, rotten kind of synthetic food. Like, you know, food is a live human thing anyway, but it's kinda dirty. And by the way, it's interesting that our replicant has this very red glove, because red color is rare in this movie. And I think red color represents violence. Because as you can remember, our replicant is capable of violence, he attacks Kay, even though he's human, he is dangerous. Then Kay kills him and his hands, obviously in blood. Also this babe, this sweet little replicant prostitute babe, she wears these kind of purplish and then this red clothes, because she is revolutionary. She represents these rogue replicants, and she's like secret spy. She wants to start a war versus humanity for replicants. So she's also capable of violence, and she will bring violence. Also this dude, as you remember, he's like slave trader. He kinda sells these slave kids, so he's also like a violent character. Also these hobos who attack our Kay when he flies over these industrial zone, they also wear some red elements, crimson red elements. And our sweet Wallace angel Love, she also wears red before she kills Kay's boss. And that's it, there's no red in this movie except of this. And all these characters share some sort of capability for violence. By the way, whole this industrial zone is pretty warm because of rust metal, it is pretty orange, and as I said, these hobos often wears red or some yellow, that we said are the colors of humanity. Also these kids sometimes wears very readable red, but also there are a lot of cold colors, and these hobos sometimes wears pretty cold blue colors. And I'm not sure about lore of Blade Runner, so maybe it represents that replicants and humans coexist in this poverty, in this forgotten industrial poor zone. And maybe some of these kids are replicant and some of these kids are very human, and these red and yellow and orange kids, maybe they have human future, human bright future, or maybe this cold green blue represents like this sci-fi future artificial slavery. This girl, of course, when she creates this memory about celebrating, about kids, it's very warm orange colors, human colors, and also she's our unique only guide to green of foliage of plants, like warm alive greens. But you know, as we said, green is heavily replicant artificial color. And maybe as she is from the both worlds, both replicant and human worlds, like she was born by replicants, born by the miracle, she can combine human orange colors and replicants green, but it is a live plant green. And she can kind of rebirth humanity through being artificial robot. It is way too deep. I think it is just fucking forest. But whatever, bro, whatever. Also, you know about this cold green color. First of all, K lives in this cold green environment. Then when he touches his artificial babe, it also happens in this green environment, in these cold, artificial, robotic colors. Kinda illustrating it is not true love, bro. It is just AI hologram product, bro. Chill. Also, it's funny when he searched for these numbers, you remember? Like he's comparing these DNAs and his date of birth. It all happens in very cold colors. It is the moment when he discovers his humanity, that he was born as a child, but colors screaming to us, no bro, no, he's fake, he's a replicant. And also this moment when he went crazy and he walks from his boss office, the colors are also pretty cold and green. Like again, he discovered his humanity, he fails his synthetic test, cells within cells, but colors telling us, no, he's a replicant, he's not a human. Also this moment when he talks to this girl and he finally discovers he was born, he is a human. His green cold coat is especially green. By the way, it's interesting, when he took Ana de Armas with him, she started to wear this yellowish raincoat. And with this upgrade, she kinda became more human, and it's represented by this more warm clothes color. Also K's memory about these motherfuckers and this wooden horse, it also supported by heavily warm colors, as it is kinda real human-like memory. Also, by the way, this prostitute in this brothel sex happens, and you see it is kinda warm colors. It is pretty unpleasant, dirty, coldish colors, but anyway, it is kinda warm because sex is kinda warm human-like thing. And by the way, in this scene with this prostitute, she is kinda ginger, like a little bit redhead, and our Joy wears something more red, so bringing sex, these replicant coming with more warm colors. And bro, I'm pretty sure it's all pre-planned, because Denis Villeneuve is fucking nerd. Like in Dune and Blade Runner, he goes deep into this composition, into this color coding, into this pre-planning. And in Blade Runner, he uses color very visibly like restricted. Like, you know, with significance, with total understanding. Like every time he chooses colors, it's absolutely not random, and all of these, every color choice, I'm sure, has its own meaning. Especially given that in this cyberpunk world you can use any colors, anything you want. By the way, Russian, vodka, блять, нахуй. And of course, Wallace. Everything around Wallace is warm, like surprisingly yellow, orange, warm and nice. And you know, it is some sort of trick, some sort of juxtaposition, some sort of reversing expectations, because Wallace is like a devil of this artificial world. Like, you know, he does this very human-like existential thing. He plays a god and creates a life. But you know, he creates artificial life. He creates this synthetic robotic slavery. So his office and him itself, like, they should come with the most cold blue, green colors. But it all comes with these very yellow colors. And maybe, you know, except of this idea that he carries this human existential god play, god syndrome. Maybe it also carries some meaning, like he tries to replicate, like imitate, fake, copy these human warm colors. Because as you see, these colors, they look kinda cold, kinda dirty, kinda peace-like greenish yellow, kinda, you know, corrupted, unpleasant, kinda cold yellow. And opposing to these like imitation fake yellows, we have some true human warm colors. And these true human alive colors, they like burning red, burning orange. And yeah, it's funny that in this world, like something truly human, a true echo of true humanity is represented by these radioactive wastelands. But anyway, just look at these colors. These truly warm colors represented by Descartes, who created this miracle of childbirth, versus these fake peace yellow imitation colors. Maybe it carries this symbolic weight. But also in Wallace's office we have some androids, and they placed in these green glass boxes. And this green cold glass is like symbol of artificial colors, as we said. And of course our final moment, you look lonely, I can fix that, comes with absolutely artificial saturated neon pink and blue colors. And our K, when he finally discovers he's not a human, he's android. He is lit in these pink and these blue colors, and these colors are so heavy, like there's no escape from this newborn knowledge about his essence. And also these neon pinky blue colors kind of represent this fake artificial love. For example, in this commercial, Joy comes with this pink color, like fake product love color. Or this city and this house kind of come with some pinky colors. Or these ads also like consumption artificial kind of pinky neon colors. Also in this moment in Las Vegas when they fight, there are some rainbow of colors. I'm not sure it really represents something or it is just a colorful mix, but maybe it combines like everything. Cold blue artificial entertainment spectacle colors with some pretty visible warm colors, like representation of something truly human spectacle, dance, emotions. And maybe it all combines in this final mix, representing everything and human emotions and like spectacle, entertainment, consumption type of emotions. And by the way, this dude is heavily warm because I guess he's a real human and he wants to sell a real goat or I'm not sure horse. Like very fun little dude. And finally, our human boss office. There's some pretty visible screaming orange lamps. Like she's a live human, she's fighting for humans, and even though she's cold and she's running this kind of replicant bureau, she also has these truly human, deep, warm colors. And by the way, our final battle, pretty visible separation, like combination, juxtaposition of these burning, warm human colors versus these cold artificial colors. And their final fight happens between our human side, Kay and Deckard, versus evil artificial side represented by love. So yeah, bro, something like this. I'm pretty sure I am right in everything, and I'm pretty sure there are endless videos on YouTube that telling exact this. I never watched it, never was interested in this. By the way, you know, I never seen original Blade Runner, and I feel it is a mistake. Skipping this movie, I feel like I'm missing something important. But with this movie, just from shots, I can feel it is good movie. Like, I can feel its significance, its weight. And given that it's 1982, as I know, it's just amazing how it looks. It looks just great, bro. I definitely need to watch this. And of course, I guess in first movie, you can get some answers about symbolic weight of stuff from second movie, like probably Deckard created these wooden horse figures because of this unicorn vision, whatever. And by the way, it's shocking how this babe from original movie looks like this babe. Like, it's crazy. They too, like a same human. Wow. And you know, it's crazy because this babe has pretty unique, significant, like recognizable, crazy eyes. And in the original movie, another babe has the same crazy kind of eyes. Wow, bro, they kind of recreated it. And her hair looks a lot like her head and her clothes and her hair. Wow. Also, you know, Love looks a lot like Rachel. You know, they two just kinda look similar. And they both has kinda similar hairstyle with these, I don't know how you call it, bangs, fringe, forelock. These fucking forehead fucking hairs, bro. But of course, her hairs looks kinda soft, kinda warm, kinda like mother, kinda old school warm woman. And her hairstyle looks kinda alive, kinda human-like, chaotic and messy. But of course, she's more threatening. And there's definitely some juxtaposition, some echo in these two women. Also, you know, as I said in my video about Blade Runner, I think Ryan Gosling is the greatest cast for this role because he plays this android without a feelings, like a robot, synthetic, but Ryan Gosling is this type of face that you can't understand what emotion lives in his face, but it's definitely not the emotionless robot face. All the time you feel like he's feeling this sadness, loneliness, and he has a soul. So it's kind of great cast for this role, because during the whole movie you have to ask yourself, is he real? Does he feel something? Does Replicant has a soul? Something like this. And in the same way, Ana de Armas is like a perfect cast for this absolutely artificial, fake AI product consumption sex hologram. Because Ana de Armas is the most warm kind of woman. Because every time you see her face, her little childish kinda with these cheeks around the face, you want to just take her head, take her fucking little warm head and look. By the way, is she Latina, Ana de Armas? Is she something Spanish or something Latinas? Cuban. Of course she's Latina. Of course she's Latina because Latina babes are the best in this world, Latina babe. Of course she's beautiful because she has this Espanol blood. Espanol, hola mi mejor amigos, recuerdas de la Alhambra, Paca de Lucia, Reconquista, Garazzo Ignacio Hernan Cortez. Just a reminder, if you are not Latina, Africa, or South Asia, Thai, Filipina girl, don't even bother. Don't fucking write me. Don't reach out to me. You don't deserve me, babe. Sorry. If you are white woman, it's a shame, woman white, bro. Become Latina first, become Thai Filipina, become Africa woman, then we will talk, bro. Alright, bye-bye, bro. Ой, блядь, нахуй, ебать,